Hey guys, Chris Grant here again, and in this video we are going to be talking about the product search inside of Tactical Arbitrage. Now we've got a lot to go over, so buckle down, get comfortable, and we'll go through every single piece to be able to make sure that you can run a product search very easily. Now, we're going to start up here in the top left-hand corner, and you're going to see that there is a switch for advanced and basic. In this particular video, we're going to be going over the advanced. It's going to be a little bit more than the basic, but I believe that it allows you to get a little bit more granular with your searches and even get a little bit more creative. In another video, we will go over the basic search as well, just so that everyone has everything they need. As I know some people really like the basic search. The view basic is a little bit cleaner and nicer to look at for some people. I am old school and still like the advanced, and as soon as you can, I would suggest that you use the advanced over the basic, just due to the fact that there's so much more information. Now right below that is the product search area. Here you can set your cache. Now cache, if you will remember, is the number of days that a data could be in Tactical Arbitrage database. So if I use 10 days, which if you have a newer account, you're not going to have 10 days, you're going to have a shorter period. But if you use 10 days, or if you use 5 days, for example, then if the item has been checked by TA in the last 5 days, then the data may come from the database rather than being pulled live. Okay. Now, typically this will also come with some more speed. So if you're going to run something like right now, when I'm making this video, we're in the middle of Q4. So if you run a live scan because there's a super limited sale going on, that will be fine. It'll just be a little bit slower because it's going to pull all the data live. Now, chances are you're not going to be the only person running that scan, so you could probably get away with running something that's in the cache 3 days or 5 days or even 10 days, and it'll bring back the latest data for you from the database. Now, the other thing is let's say that you run a scan with a 10-day cache or a 5-day cache. If the item has not been updated in 7 days or 12 days, then what will happen is Tactical Arbitrage will go out and find the live data anyway. So it's never a bad idea to have some cache and be able to go through things a little bit faster, but I know that some people are only comfortable with pulling live data, and that's okay as well. What I would suggest is that you run some experiments while you're running scans or searches or whatever you want to call them, and find that happy middle ground that's right for you. Okay. Now right below the set cache area is an option to do a cache only search. So let's say, for example, that I choose 10 days and I run a search on Walmart toys. Well, what will happen is with a cache only search turned on, then it's going to go super fast. It's going to be absolute lightning. However, if a product has been added to the Amazon catalog, maybe in the past 5 days, and it has not been run through by anyone else, then that data may not show up. Only data from the Tactical Arbitrage database will show up. And then I could update it and get fresh information and all of that. However, if there's some reason where it's not in the database within X period of days based on your cache level, then it will not show up at all. Okay, so I would suggest that you don't use this a lot. There will be another video where I can show you how you can use the cache only search to figure out untapped areas where people are not scanning, but we'll get into that later. Okay. All right, we're going to turn that off. Turn this off here, cancel it. There we go. Now your other option here is UPC sites and products only. So what you see here, if you turn this on, we're going to select the websites, and we're only going to see UPC sites. Now blue are sites that have been added either from the XPaths that we offer or Tactical Bucket, and you can see I have quite a few of them here. And these are only UPC XPaths. Now, if we turn off that UPC sites and products only, we're going to notice that there's a lot more sites. Now, I would not suggest that you use UPC and products only. Tactical Arbitrage has an advanced image algorithm that is able to help you find products. Even, let's say, a toy car is outside of the box on Amazon, but at Walmart it's inside of a box. Tactical Arbitrage can often actually find the match with that. So the image match algorithm has gotten so much more advanced that I would suggest that you keep all of those open. That way you have the option to scan more and more sites. And one thing that I would suggest you turn on is this: also check UPC products for image matches. Places like Walmart, Target, Kohl's, these UPC sites may not always have a UPC code. So when they're not available, or even if it is available, it's always a good idea for a UPC product to be double checked with an image. That way you have the opportunity to find more products. You may find a product that matches with the UPC, but maybe there's a better listing where someone did not actually use a UPC. And by using this particular filter here, you'll have the opportunity to find those. Next is the sourcing from and the selling at. This is just like on the dashboard screen. We're going to be showing searching from USA and selling on .com. However, if you were sourcing in Canada and selling on .com, or sourcing in Germany and selling on the UK site, you can do all of that, and Tactical Arbitrage will automatically take care of any money exchange, any currency exchange rates, and things like that. It's automatically figured all out for you. Again, we're going to be doing USA to .com, and remember, the mechanics will cross over just about any marketplace, so you don't have to worry about something that works in the US not working in the UK or Canada or anything like that. The next section is the website. So if we're going to do a single website search, we can select the site here. You can favorite these, so you can see I have Walgreens favorited, but let's say that we're going to do let's do a Boscov's search here. Let's find it. So we'll do a Boscov's search, and if I chose, I could hit the little star button here, and what this will do is it will put Boscov's right here at the top with Walgreens. And then from in here we can select it as well. We can unstar it if we don't want it there, all kinds of things. Now inside of here you can also search. So if I don't want to scroll down, but let's say that I want to see everything that has a C in it, I can type the letter C, and now I've got all of the items that have a C in it. Now of course this is not helpful because most of these are .com, so let's go to the letter D, and now we can see only sites that have D in them. And then of course if we know the actual name, we could type in Boss and find Boscov's and Herbos.com. Now we're going to do Boscov's. Now here you can enter categories. If you actually open up the site, you can go and select your own categories. You're going to need to remember that you're going to need to have them to look like the category example here. So boscovs.com/AST/Mrs. And what we'll find over here is, let's say we go to beauty and we'll go to Clinique under the beauty brands. We'll see that we have this Boscovs/AST, Clinique, etc. This should work because we've got products here that are ready to be looked at by Tactical Arbitrage. So what we can do is we can select this, copy it, take it over and place it in the category, and then we can actually add up to 25 there. So if we want to hit enter, we could go back and we could go to beauty and go to Estee Lauder, and we could pull this one as well and then pull it into here. Now sometimes categories will not work. You're always going to want to check this category example, and then sometimes you may need to play around with the way that it looks, because sometimes they'll have pop-up sales or all kinds of things that can make those site links not work. Okay. This start and last page are not really necessary any longer. Tactical Arbitrage can figure out what page to start on. It can figure out what page to end on. So I would leave these blank anytime you do a search. Now, your next option is to import a bulk category list. If you import a bulk category list, this can be both for just one store or it can be a multi-store bulk category list. If we click Upload New File, it'll give us the opportunity to see a full list of supported domains, but we can also download an example. And when we download this example, we can see, let me open it up here, we can see that we need a category. We do not need a start or a last page, so we can actually get rid of these, and we need a domain. So if you do a multi-site category or bulk search, you're going to want to make sure that your categories match up with the domain. And you can see Target uses a category ID, PetSmart uses an actual URL, and the Walmart keys actually use Walmart key numbers or category IDs. Okay, so you can build these out, and you could do them at a single store, you could do them at multi-stores, any way that you want to. And once you have this, you can then, we'll actually go ahead and save that. You can then upload this. Oops, forgot to choose the file. Choose the file, and we can upload that bulk example. Hit open, click the upload button, and then it's going to see that we have a category and a domain, and then we can upload that and get the scan started. Okay, that's as hard as that is. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Now the easiest thing to do is going to be to use Easy Bulk. Now we've got Boscov's in here, and let me refresh this page. We'll start this over. Pull Boscov's back up. The Easy Bulk is going to be the easiest way and also be a nice way to be able to make sure you get every single category. The Easy Bulk is brought to you by Tactical Bucket, of course. We can go in here and we can do your selections and all products. These are just the way that this is filled out, or the categories are in Boscov's. If we go to one of my favorites, Walgreens, we can see that these look a little bit different. And we have a couple of options. We can select 500, and it will select 500 of them for us. Okay? Or we can get rid of these, and we can actually select what we want to choose. So for example, let's say that we want all of the beauty, and we can do up to 500 at a time. If we happen to go over, or if we happen to hit the 500, then Tactical Arbitrage will blank these out so we can't look at them. So I'm going to do beauty, I'm going to do household, and then I also want to do medicines and treatments, but I don't want all 112, so I'm going to click the little button that's next to it. Okay, you see a little arrow there, and then I can start choosing subcategories. So allergy and sinus, cough, cold, and flu, etc., and so on. And once I have all of what I want to scan selected, I can click Add to Bulk. This is going to add to my bulk categories, and it'll be ready to go. Now, one thing I can do in here is I can click on the manager, and I can see the bulk list that I have saved. I can click on this Save Edit feature, and then I can see what I just put in there, and I can actually save this. So I'm going to name this, and I'm going to call this WAGs, and today is November 18, 2019. And then I will hit the little check mark button. That's going to save this for me, so I could then come back and scan this anytime that I wanted. I can also delete items out of here, etc., and so on, or I could download this if I wanted to save this to my computer. Then I can also delete this. Excuse me. So that's how you create an easy bulk list. We want to turn off that import bulk category, turn that on. You can use saved filters. You'll see all of your saved filters are up here, and we'll talk about creating those here shortly. You can also, we can choose this 829, and we can delete that filter from there. And then, of course, we can name our searches. So I'm going to name this WAGs 11. Today is the 18th, 2019. Test search. And once we click search, this will become the name of our product search, and then it'll also be in our queued searches. It'll also be in our completed searches when that's all finished. Now, once we have everything named and we're ready to actually get into the filter products area, and this is where you're going to be able to filter out any of the items that you don't want to see. Now, one of the first things you're going to want to do is find source price adjustments. And these are ways to be able to save money. Now, if you happen to be watching this from the UK, you can set a fixed price per item. There's a lot of times when stores will have like buy three for $10, and you'll actually need to, there's not really a great way to put a percentage off, so you'll need to put in that the items are $10, or well, that would be like $3.50 a piece, or whatever that is, or $3.33 per item. But this is really just for the UK. The US marketplace, and I haven't really seen this across any other marketplaces that it's used very much, but it is there for you. Now, the next thing we're going to be looking for are store price reductions. The first is a store discount. The store discount is going to be if, say, a store is running a 25% off, or what you're going to see at Walgreens a lot is a buy two, get one free, where it's essentially 33% off. Buy one, get one 50% off is 25% off per item, and so on and so forth. So you're always going to want to be able to put this in here. Now, you can do the auto feature. And what you'll see here is you can have the automatic discounts put in, and these are pulled every single day. Cash back, gift cards, things like that, and you can set these up. You can edit your sources, and we're going to talk about this when we get into the actual settings. But that is an option to turn those on. I personally don't turn them on just because some stores you may not buy the gift card if it's not enough, or so on and so forth. So I typically set these manually. The second discount is going to be your cash back. So if you spend $100 and you can get 8% cash back with Top Cash Back, or 6% with Ebates, what's now Rakuten, you want to put that in here. And then if you're buying a gift card, you can put that in here. Walgreens doesn't accept gift cards online, but say a place like Target, you should be able to get gift cards off for about 7.5% off pretty much all the time, and you can place that in here so that they are taken into account when it figures out what your actual costs of goods sold are. Now, let's talk for 1 second about cash back. Some people use it and figure it out into their cost of goods sold. Other people don't count it and use it as a bonus when they get it. It's completely up to you. I typically just use it as a bonus, but I do want to look for store discounts and gift cards regularly to try to get my cost of goods sold down. And then down here, you can also put in your state sales tax. If you do have to pay state sales tax to a lot of these sites, based on where you're shipping it to, if you're shipping it to yourself, or maybe even your prep center is in a state where it's not sales tax free, you can put that in here. For example, where I live, it is 7%. So if I have items shipped to me rather than my prep center, I can put in 7% right there, or take it off, of course. Now, the other thing that's available here is this little green button. This is the button for RetailMeNot, and what this will do is it will take you to a page that will show you codes for 25% off and all kinds of codes that might be happening at a particular store. This one is a 20% off any one qualifying purchase. So you have to kind of dig through these and figure out whether they work or not. For example, this one doesn't have any details, but this one here, tap offer, get a copy of the coupon code. It's 25% off a regular priced beauty and personal care item. And then there's 15% off the Schiff items, which you can check all these and try them out. Okay, so really try. This is where you're going to be making your money. or increasing your ROI is by finding these sales, these store discounts, these gift cards, to be able to make things as inexpensive as possible and also give you some cushion just in case the price starts to come down on Amazon. Now, after these source price adjustments, you're going to want to go to remove. Now, there are a lot of options in here. You can remove the current average 30-day, average 90-day ranks over X amount. So let's say we wanted to remove the average 90-day ranks, anything over 150,000. You can do that. 500,000, whatever number you want to put in here. You can also use this as per settings. If we turn this as per settings and click this open, we can choose the category product count. So right now it's set to the top 10% in each category. You could do the top 7% or 4%, whatever you might be comfortable with in each one of these. And then of course you can also manually enter some of these. So for example, in movies and TV, I have it set to 1 because I don't want to see anything in movies and TV. Same with handmade products and so on. Now, I typically do not use this. I actually typically don't use the ranks at all. What I will do is I will remove if the estimated sales is less than 1. And you could make this 10, you could make it 50, you can make that whatever you want. But my suggestion is to always go wide. So I don't really worry about the ranks so much. I do put in a remove if the estimated sales is less than 1. You can remove if the number of sellers is less than X and more than X. So if we want items where the number of sellers is less than, say, 50, but more than 2, we can use that. Okay, this can keep you away from items where they may be private label or maybe some sort of bundle that you don't want to see. Again, be really cautious with this. Again, I'm filming this in Q4, and 50 sellers on a listing can be nothing, especially if you are competitive. So I would always go wide on this because you really need to worry more about the number of competitive sellers, not necessarily the total number of sellers on a listing. Let's delete these. Now, in the next one, you can remove if the number of competitive FBA sellers is more than X. So I have mine set to 2%. So if I want to remove a number of competitive FBA sellers is more than, say, 20, I could do that. And this would remove any items where the number of sellers within 2% of the buy box is more than 20. Again, I would be careful with that. Remember, this time of year, there is a season for everything, but during Q4, even having 20 competitive sellers on a listing doesn't necessarily mean that you won't be able to sell through, especially if it's a really hot product. For example, we have a product in right now where we are competitive with 15 or 20 other sellers, but it's ranked like 800, and it's selling. I mean, the minute mine get checked in, they sell through because I'm staying right competitive with the buy box. You can remove third-party sellers from results. What this means is that if a third-party seller on Walmart or Barnes & Noble or any of these other sites that allow third-party sellers, you can remove those items. This is a great idea to use. One site that's automatically done is in Sears, because Sears has just had horrible third-party sellers. But if you wanted to do this for Walmart, Target even has a couple of third-party sellers now. You can select that box and make sure that you don't see those. You can use this to remove oversized products if you don't want to sell anything oversized. I would highly suggest that you don't do this. Just make sure that you're using the proper fees if you're using a prep center for oversized products. Oversized products can often have less competition and give you the ability to make profits regularly, or even some higher profits, just because a lot of people don't want to deal with them. You can remove out of stock products. This will remove products that are not in stock at the source site. Again, be careful with this. If you absolutely want it, you can use it, but there are a lot of times when you might see an out of stock product, and you could set it up for an alert, which we'll get into later, so that when it does come back in stock, you could be one of the first to see it. You can remove if Amazon contains no weight or size data. This often happens when listings are created by dropshippers or people who don't want to put in the dimensions so that people don't hop on the listing. So if you don't want to see those, you can use that. You can remove if Amazon is also a seller and now or currently in stock. You can click that. Remember that Amazon will share the buy box, so it's not always necessary to say I'm not going to sell against Amazon. You're just going to want to do some research and see if Amazon is sharing the buy box at all. You can remove products if the number of reviews is less than X. So if I only wanted to sell products that had 5 reviews or more, or 10 or 20 or 30 or whatever that number might be, you can do that there. Remember, I would caution you not to get too restrictive on this if you use it at all, just because there are lots of products that sell that don't have a ton of reviews. You can also remove if the rating is lower than X, and this can be this can use a decimal point. So if we wanted to sell products that had 3.1 stars or more, we can do that, or 2.5, or a flat 3. It'll remove any products where the rating is lower than what you put in here. So with the 3, if it were a 2.9, it would remove the product. This can be especially important if you are selling things like shoes and clothing. Having a low star rating could be something that means maybe the fit is not there or the quality is not what people are expecting, and this could actually help you combat returns and things like that. However, if you're selling mostly toys or other products, you may not want to use this or be very restrictive on this. If a product is selling for more on Amazon than it's selling, say, at Target or Walmart, that can irritate people who actually go and check, and they might leave a bad review, even though it doesn't actually mean anything for the product itself. You can remove products with a source price of less than X and more than X. So let's say that I only want to see products where the source price is less than $100, but more than $5. I could do that here. This can be especially important if you want to make sure that you're not putting too much of your capital into a single product. But again, I would go wide on that. You can always make that decision manually while you're looking through your products rather than allowing TA to do it for you. You can remove products with an Amazon price of less than X and more than X. So if I don't want to sell anything with a price less than $9, and I don't want to sell anything where the price on Amazon is more than $75, I can do that here. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily suggest putting a limit on it. Some things can go sky high and still sell. I definitely can understand using it if the price is less than a certain amount, because at $6, $7, it's hard to make much of a profit. You can remove products if the Amazon title contains the words, and this can be multiple words. So a lot of people will use this for things like pack, and you can hit enter and it will create the word there for you. Pack, PK, quantity, or quantity. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Case, you could do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for multiples. So any item on Amazon, if the title contains any of these words, then based on the way that I have it right now, they will not show up. Okay? You can remove products containing the brand. So for example, if I didn't want to sell Sony and hit enter, or Apple, or let's say Mac. So these 3 brands I want to exclude. You could also exclude these inside of your settings, which we'll go over in another video, but you can also add them here in case there's something you just don't want to see. Perhaps you don't want to see any PJ Masks brand when you're doing a toy scan, but you might want to see it some other time. You could add that in here. Now you can also remove a product if the Amazon buy box is not at least X times the store price. So a common a common equation back when I first started was you need to make sure that anything you buy is selling for 3 times the price you purchase it for. So if you buy it for 5, you need to be able to sell it for 15. Okay, and what that will do is that will be 5 for your buy cost, 5 for Amazon, and 5 for your profit. Now that's not really the case anymore. That was 2010, 2011, 2012. Nowadays, you can make a lot thinner margins and still make money just due to the velocity of products that are selling. So this was something that was added, but I would really suggest that you're either very careful with it or don't use it at all. Now the next thing is source titles. This is going to be something that you're probably not going to use much, if ever, but you can remove words from source titles before searching. But for example, the website 511 Tactical often has 5.11 in front of their products on their site. So if you wanted to, you could remove 5.11 from the title before it searches. That way it doesn't look for that, it just looks for the rest of the title. You can add a word or words to source title before searching on Amazon. So if you are sourcing a site and all of them, let's say that all of them needed to have 5.11 there, you can put that there. Okay. Oops, that hit. I did not want to start that search. Let's go back to these source titles here. You can remove products if the source title contains. So maybe the source title contains pack or 2, 3, 4, 5. You can put all of those in there, and if the source title contains any of those words, it will be removed. And then finally, you can remove products if the source title does not contain. So maybe you only want to see products where the source title says Marvel in the name. You could do that as well. Okay. Again, these are going to be things that you don't really use very much. Now your costs and your fees. These are important, especially if you're using a prep center. Your cost to prep per standard product, cost to create a bundle, cost to prep oversize, and then your cost per pound to ship to Amazon, which of course is going to be approximate. If you're using a prep center, a lot of them are maybe charging $1 or $1.50. Maybe they're charging $1.50 for a bundle, and then maybe they're charging $2 for oversize. And then your cost per pound to ship to Amazon could be somewhere. I usually use 50 cents per pound, and that typically overestimates my cost of shipping to Amazon, but it's there. And it will figure that into your costs. So you're going to want to make sure to have these numbers correct. That way your actual ROI, your profit, and everything else comes out as close to correct as possible. Okay? Now your profit and ROI filters. These will only keep data where the gross profit is at least X, and it'll only keep data where the gross ROI is at least X%. So for example, I would suggest that you go wide. One of the problems I see most often is someone will say, hey, I'm only looking for items that make me $10 and a 50% ROI or better, and then like, well, I can't find anything. My suggestion is you use something like $1 and something like 10% ROI. You could go even lower if you want to see more, and then we start filtering and deleting data in the view data folder rather than deleting it right up front. Okay? And then finally we have the other filters. You have the also show no match found results. I would not use this very often. This will show you items where a product may show up on a source site, but it actually does not show up on Amazon, or TA cannot find an Amazon match. You can show only no match found results, which means that you'll see nothing but items that were not able to be picked up as a match between the source site and Amazon. You can do also show Amazon out of stock results. This one should be turned on forever. This one's incredibly important because if you're doing a product search, say at Target or Walgreens or Kohl's or wherever, and the item is not sold by either Amazon or a third-party seller and it's currently unavailable, then by default Tactical Arbitrage does not show it. However, if you turn on the also show Amazon out of stock results, this is going to show those items to you, and you may have the opportunity to bring an item back in stock that was not in stock before. This can be incredibly important, and it happens a lot more than you might think. So I would implore you to always have this turned on. Now, you can also turn on show only Amazon out of stock results. I would not necessarily use this one. You don't want to see items that are only items that are out of stock on Amazon. You'll be passing over a lot of great nickels, dimes, quarters, dollars, etc. that you could be seeing in search of that $20 bill. Okay, so we don't want to step over nickels to pick up dimes all the time, because we have to remember that an Amazon business can really be built on singles and doubles, and those home runs are just icing on the cake. Now, when you're running a product search, one thing I would suggest, unless you're running like a really niche or short time sale on a particular site, if you're out looking for replens or just looking for toy items, I would suggest that you also show the reverse search results of more sources. And I would turn on both UPC and title. Well, what this is going to do is, let's say that we're scanning a Walgreens for toy products. This is going to take the toy from Walgreens, and it's going to go search all of the hundreds of other sites to see if it can find another match for you, and it will show it to you as long as it fits your filters. Now, this can give you the opportunity to say that, okay, well, Walgreens has this Marvel toy for $19.99, but you know what, Target over here has it for $17.99, and I can see it there as well. Okay, now the other thing you can do is, once you have all of your filters set up, you can save your current filter setup with a name. So let's just say I want to call this TA Academy. Academy. Wow. TA Academy 2019. I can click save on this, and then I've got a saved filter that I can use in the future. It's never a bad idea to have a couple of different filters, especially if you're running the same or similar filters over and over and over again. It's much easier to be able to choose, okay, I want my default product search, or you know what, I want that shoes and clothing filter, or we can see here I set up like a $9 gross profit for like a really high profit margin search with a 30-day average BSR, so we could set up something like this as well. Okay, so that way you have a bunch of different options to choose from. Then of course, if you ever need to get rid of one, you can exit out, or you can red exit, and it's gone just like that. All right. Now the last thing we can do is, let's say that we're using this default product search. I can go here and I can clear the filters. That way I can start fresh anytime I want to. Now, once you have all of that set up, the last thing to do is to hit this search button. I refreshed the page, so my website and my easy bulk is gone. I could use this easy bulk here. It was the WAGS 1118, and I could hit search. And actually, let's go ahead and do that, because what we will see is once we hit that search button, we're going to see the process number up here. If I had named this like I taught here, you would actually see a name for this. You can see the status. We can see that the search is in progress. We can see what bulk row it's currently on. The pages, 1 to 999 just means that you left the start and the last page blank. So Tactical Arbitrage will figure out what page to stop at. We can see the current page that it's on, the current product. The number of products checked is 45. Now, this number is larger than the current product, because even though this has gone through 17 products on the source site, it's actually checked it against 62 other products between other source sites and on Amazon, because remember, Tactical Arbitrage always wants to go out and find all the matches for you. And then we can see how many products were added based on our filter criteria. So out of this particular source scan that just started, we can see that 44 products have been added. Now, we can hit View Data and be taken to our View Data screen to actually see the products. It'll open up in a new tab here where it'll load up the products for us to actually look at in the actual process that we are running currently. We can see these are all right here. We can check out our search manager up here, of course. So it'll show us what search is actually running. And in our queued, we've only got one at the moment. As soon as it loads, there it is, Walgreens. We can start a new search. This one is important, okay? I'll show you how you do that in just a moment. We can stop this search, and then we can watch our log. Now, I would not suggest that you spend a lot of time watching the logs, but if there is ever an issue, this is where you can go and download it and send it to the support team so that they can take a look at it, send it up to the development team if necessary, and we can kind of see what's been added. Got product from Amazon, it's out of stock of new products, so it was skipped, etc., and so on. We can kind of diagnose some things from in here as well. And then finally, because we can run multiple searches at once, you get one search set up, and then we go to start a new search, and it pulls everything up fresh for us so that we can begin a new search. So that is how to get the product search going in the advanced view. In the next video, we'll talk about the basic view and go over everything again. It's going to be much, much simpler, much faster to do, but it is available there for you. And then again, if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the Facebook group. If you haven't joined, make sure to join the Facebook group, and I will see you guys in the next video.